Representative Brian Stewart was a team householder candidate. He was subject to 2 Ohio Election Commission complaints and a combined full hearing relating to his unethical householder campaign finance dealings. Those were cases 2020 G004 and 2022 G015. On February 12th, while Representative Stewart was the head of the Finance Committee overseeing the biennial budget in the House, Executive Director of the Ohio Election Commission, Phil Richter, testified to be faced with criticism from Brian Stewart that he better buckle up, and with a direct threat to dissolve the Ohio Election Commission while Brian Stewart had crooked campaign finance team householder cases before the Ohio Election Commission.
Your concerns are certainly fair, and I understand it considering what you've gone through and as well as what Chairman Stewart is currently going through.
Buckle up.
I understand.
Commission members, we're hearing from the Elections Commission at the beginning of the day in full finance because I'm going to take my own medicine. I don't want to hide any balls about what we're trying to do here.
Having heard the warning from Representative Stewart loud and clear, on February 27th, the Ohio Election Commission, who meets in the building right behind me, the Reif building, ruled that there was nothing to see here relating to Brian Stewart's householder crooked campaign finance. Here's what there was to see there. Brian Stewart had a radio ad made, produced professionally, and run that was never reported anywhere. It was paid for by Constant Content, a corporation. Had he attempted to report it, it would be a serious crime because it was a corporation. I brought 3 cases against individual politicians. Some of them had a couple of actual filings. But Alan Freeman, who is not the favorite child, who got a $50,000 fine for having done basically the same thing that Brian Stewart did, only at a much lower dollar volume. Jean Schmidt was found to have a violation, but only assessed a $50 fine. To be fair to Jean, she actually reported stuff relating to Constant Content and paid bills in her campaign finance, both at the time of the 2020 primary, and then she put more on as the hearing progressed. By the way, tip the politicians. Jean Schmidt's savvy at being crooked, so you keep reporting more stuff and it enables you to get off with a $50 fine. But Brian Stewart, who did basically the same thing as Alan Freeman, he gets off with nothing, Now, I have the case appealed, and Brian Stewart's thank you to the Ohio Election Commission for letting him off is that he and the Senate are eliminating the Ohio Election Commission. Only in Ohio would you eliminate the campaign finance oversight body after a $61 million political bribe scheme. You wouldn't try to strengthen it, for example, because you're a politician and you actually like the way Larry Householder type campaign finance schemes work. So what happened next was that the Ohio Election Commission is dissolved. They went ahead and dissolved it anyway, even after they did Stewart a solid and let him off. It, I guess, continues to operate until December 31st of this year. The 2 Brian Stewart cases I have on appeal, and I'm hopeful that the Election Commission will ultimately rehear those cases before it's dissolved and do the same thing with Brian Stewart that they did with Jean Schmidt and Alan Freeman. Be honest and find a serious violation of campaign finance.